I had this amazing thing happen the other day. I just want to share it with you and see what you think. I was babysitting for Larry's 2-year-old grandson a few days ago over the holiday, and we were alone, and I made him some pancakes. He doesn't talk very much, he's 2 years old. But I asked him something, and it was a question that was a bit mystical, just for fun. I said, "Hey, Wesley, what did God tell you? What does God look like? What did God tell you before you got here?" And he said, "Jack." And I said, "Jack, what do you mean by that?" Because he doesn't know my son's name is Jack. In fact, he doesn't even know who God is because his family is not religious at all. And I know for a fact they have not talked about God with him. So when he said Jack, it kind of blew my mind. And I said, "What did you say?" And again, he said, "Jack." And I got tears in my eyes because I don't think he knows. Of course, he doesn't know that I've been struggling with hoping my son calls me. My son is extremely busy. I didn't see him for the holidays. He's really happy. My son is 31. His name is Jack. He just got engaged. He just bought a house. He has a great job and he's busy. Okay. He doesn't want his mommy hanging around, and he's got a big life. And a lot of mothers, a lot of sons separate from their mothers in order to find true love. It's actually a lot of therapists talk about this. So I have to get over the fact that my son does not want to hang out with me every day like he did when he was little. you know, and it's a true theory, not just a theory, but a psychological truism that boys need to separate from their mother to become men, to find their true love. They can't be a mama's boy anymore. They can't have their mom hanging around. So it's hard. I had to let it go, but it's been hurting a little. So when I asked Wesley, what does God look like? Or what did God tell you? And he says, Jack. And he had this beautiful twinkle in his eyes and a smile. I thought, wow, what would make him say that? And then I remembered when my son Jack was 2 years old. I caught him. He didn't know I was watching. I was in the hallway and I peeked in the room, and he was in my bedroom. And he was only 2 years old, and he had his little teddy bear in his arms. And a picture of my baby brother had fallen off the bulletin board. And my baby brother was 38 years old, and he had just died. In December 1st, 1995, my son was not quite 2 years old. And my son didn't speak much, and he didn't really know my brother's name was Paul. So imagine how blown away I was when I caught my son at 2 years old, picking up the picture that fell off the bulletin board, looking at it, and here's what he said. And I was standing in the doorway when I heard him say this. He looked at the picture of my baby brother, and he said, "Poor little angel, poor little angel." And then he said, "Paul." I stood there shaking, going, how would he know my brother's name? How would he know he just died? Why did he say that? And then I remembered there was a book someone gave me. There's a book about how children are so close to God when they're first born, when they first start speaking, and they come into this world. They're so new and fresh. They were just with God when they came into this world, when they were first born. And as we get older and older, we forget God, unless we have parents who take us to Sunday school or teach us about God or talk to us. And as we get older, we forget. And then when we die, we go back to God. That's the theory in the book. So you explain this to me, okay? Because I'm not really religious, but I've had some incontrovertible, mind-boggling, spine-tingling God shots, which are all these coincidences that match up in my life, which cannot be random. It points to something much bigger in the universe. And I've been on a magic carpet ride ever since I got sober 31 years ago, started having all these God shots. So anyway, I'd like to have, if any of you have any stories about children or kids or any vision of a God shot or any samples of stories like this, please share them with us. You can write to us at godshots.org, at gmail.com, or underneath this YouTube video. And have a great weekend. Happy New Year. Keep your eyes on the good. It's everywhere. This is a benevolent universe. You have to keep seeking the good to find it. So if you focus on the beauty, you'll find it everywhere. Keep our eyes on the good. Let's not look so, and we can't lift others up by commiserating too much and getting down there with them. We can reflect good back to people and lift them up. Okay? So send love to your neighbor, send love to even your enemy. Because good is everywhere. I call God the great universal spirit, Gus. Yeah, Gus. Okay, lots of love to you.